What is up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the politics and BS. So Marytrump, somebody that I've been following for a little minute now, and I haven't really talked a whole lot about, but I want to share some things that she said because recently, just like a few other people have been on this Biden needs to step down, Biden needs to be replaced, the Democratic Party needs a new nominee. It's almost August. Like, are people really serious about this right now? If it was all about his age and these slip-ups, which he had a bad night, and he's not the first person to have a debate as presidential nominee and have a bad debate, but because of his age, people are focusing on that, and it was late. He should have been in bed. But George Clooney, Hollywood elite, who says that he loves Biden, but he wrote an opinion piece for the New York Times. Again, CEO, owner, Trump donors, okay? It's in their best interest to put content out like this because they're pushing the narrative that Biden needs to be replaced and Trump is going to be president because that's what they want. Marytrump, who is Donald Trump's niece and knows him quite well, and a lot of things that she has said about him have turned out to be true. They have turned out to be unfolded and be revealed. She issued a reminder about her uncle after people in the media were going crazy because George Clooney said that even though he loves Biden, he needs to step down. So she issued a statement, and she said in an email that she did, she says, while our hysterical friends in the corporate media, and I love how she said that because it's what I've been speaking about here lately, continue to lose their minds over Joe Biden's loss of support from the star George Clooney, it should be much bigger news that Donald has lost the support of virtually every single person who served with him when he was in the Oval Office, including the Vice President, Mike Pence. His followers, whom he incited, almost took his life on January 6, 2021. And she described Mike Pence as a shameless sycophant who polished my uncle's boots for 4 years, but said his abandoning of Trump and refusing to endorse him and refusing to vote for him seems like a bigger story to me than anything George Clooney has to say. And I 100% agree with that. Like, it's true. Why isn't the corporate media, the mainstream media, focusing on the fact that almost every person that served in his office, including his right-hand man, who, like Marytrump said, polished his boots and was a sycophant for Trump for 4 years, is not endorsing him and said he's not voting for him? Seriously, why aren't they focusing on that? But they're focusing on these people that are saying Joe Biden needs to step down. They're focusing on him being 81 and him having some gas and some slip-ups at the debate, which was bedtime for him. Honestly, he probably should have been in bed a couple of hours since that debate had started. So people focus on the wrong things, but the mainstream media, they have a purpose for focusing on those things because they are working on the programming. They're working on the telling a vision on television to tell people that Trump is going to be the next president, and to pretty much have people who don't want him to be president but feel that the way things are being described with Joe Biden, there is no hope, so don't even go bother voting. That's what they want. That's what they want. So Marytrump had some more things to say. She wrote in her blog that the United States appears to be experiencing cognitive decline. She says, that's the only way I can explain the short memories that have erased the horrors of my uncle's catastrophic 4 years in the Oval Office. The clinical psychologist and author, who was a frequent critic of Donald Trump, went on to list several policy decisions made by her uncle that she wishes she could forget, including Trump's handling of the C-19 pandemic and his actions related to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. But I can't forget any of that, Mary Trump wrote, and I'm determined not to let the rest of the country forget it either. One of our goals has to be to remind as many people as possible just how bad things were and warn them that things will be so much worse if we keep forgetting. If we fail, I fear he will do things to this country and its people that we will never be able to forget or forgive. Mary Trump has publicly endorsed Biden since his first debate blunder, including writing on X that she was proud to support the best presidential administration of my lifetime. American democracy depends on making sure we defeat my fascist uncle and his enablers in November. Hashtag we back Biden Harris. So honestly, these are the types of things that the mainstream media is not focusing on. They're not going to prop up Mary Trump, who has been telling people about her uncle from the very beginning, before he won the first time. He never won the second time, but I'm just saying before he won, because he only won once. And he got that power, he got that taste of power, and he did not want to give it up. And she said that that was going to be the case. She said that if he did not win the second time, he was not going to give it up easy. And look what he did. He caused this insurrectionist attack on the Capitol. He had people yelling, hang Mike Pence. The man, like she said, would shine his boots if she had to. He was a sycophant for Trump for 4 years. He sold out. So I'm not a fan of his either. You know what I mean? He sold out to get that position, because who even knew of who a Mike Pence was before Donald Trump picked him? He picked somebody that he thought was going to be a go along to get along guy, and he was, but up until Donald Trump tried to do the unthinkable, which Pence never thought would happen, which was trying to overturn an election, and wanted Mike Pence to step in to be at the helm to make sure that it happened. It's crazy. So yeah, the mainstream media, they're not focusing on things like that. Again, because it's not in their best personal interest to put Trump in a bad light. Trump does that all on his own, but they're just not going to showcase it. So if you want to know what's the real, you have to go and look for it, because they're not going to showcase it really on their platforms. And the little things that they do show, honestly, is not the worst of it. So even when he was going through the trial and they were, talking about it constantly and whatever, it was because it was bringing on the ratings and people were interested in it, whether they hated the fact that he was on trial or loved it. It was about the ratings. It wasn't about Donald Trump is a bad guy and he's getting what he deserves and he needs to be held accountable. No, those people who are the owners and the CEOs of these media organizations, these conglomerates, they're looking out for what's best for them. That's why news, period, not just the political news for the most part is focusing on the things that are bad. They're not sharing a bunch of good news. Good things are happening in the world, but they don't focus on those things because it's not interesting. It's not fear-mongering. It's not getting people hyped up. It's not getting people tuned in. I don't watch local news at all. I don't. Because all they do is news at 5. 5 people shot and killed at whatever the street is or whatever. Like, I'm not sitting and watching that, but that's what they showcase. It's all negative. And even though negative things are happening, there are good things that are happening too, but it's not going to bring in the ratings. So I just wanted to talk about that real quick. Mary Trump, she's been on her uncle's ass from the very beginning, and she has not told one lie, but her uncle has told all of them. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.